also want to talk about what's going on with the wide receivers right now because Justin Jefferson got paid. CeeDee Lamb's not at training camp. And I'm thinking he kind of knows what his window is here. Or at least Jerry Jones would know. Shouldn't that deal get done if they do want to pay CeeDee Lamb?
Dan, I'm at a loss for what the Dallas Cowboys are doing from a contract standpoint. I really don't understand it. As you know, I do the Eagles preseason games, and the Eagles' philosophy is as soon as you identify a player as being a core player that you want to have around for a long time, sign him and extend him then because the price is only going to go up. Meanwhile, Dan, the Cowboys' three best, most important players right now, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, all have contract issues. None of them are happy with their contractual situations. I've heard where Jerry Jones has said he wants a few more hands to be played, which I think is insulting. I mean, on the one hand, you can say what he wants to see, how Dak or CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons plays. Maybe there's a chance they could suffer some type of catastrophic injury. But when I hear Jerry Jones say he wants to see some more hands be played before he gives them the big contracts, two thoughts. One is I think it's really insulting to those guys. I mean, you're CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and Jerry Jones hasn't seen enough to this point to identify you as the guy he wants to have around. And then the other thing is the reason why the Cowboys are in this position and will continue to be in this position, they're going to have to pay all three of those guys now at the top of the market. Micah Parsons isn't taking less. He already said it. He wants to be the highest paid non-quarterback. CeeDee Lamb, I'm sure, thinks he's as good as Jefferson and will get that money. And Dak has crazy leverage over them because of his salary cap number. As you know, Dan, it's the most well-endowed, it's the most valuable franchise in all of pro sports. They could easily, a year ago, have given these guys huge signing bonuses, spread it out to get that salary cap proration. I really don't understand it at all.
Yeah, unless Jerry is kind of betting on one of those guys is not going to live up to expectations this upcoming. Like, it's just weird. You're almost hoping they don't outperform what their contract is going to call for, which is crazy. You want Micah Parsons to be Defensive Player of the Year. You want CeeDee Lamb to have 120 catches and 12 touchdowns. And you want Dak to be in the MVP race. That's going to cost you even more because you're on the clock. So it's almost as if Jerry's saying, well, what if they underachieve? Maybe I don't have to pay them as much. Or I let one of them walk.
And the thing that, to your point, which I think is really interesting, is that I guess I sit here sometimes and I think, do they just want to pay him as late as possible? Is it just a cash thing? Because you're right. It's almost on some level like they're rooting for that to happen. I don't think that that's the case.
You're delaying the inevitable, it feels like.
1,000%. And I think, Dan, that Jerry Jones wants these players and their agents to give a discount because they play for the Cowboys, meaning all of the primetime games, all of the off-the-field opportunities. You see Dak on all these commercials. Micah's got all this stuff going with Bleacher Report and all these things. I think and maybe there was a time where players did that because there was such a difference between being a Cincinnati Bengal and a Dallas Cowboy or a Jacksonville Jaguar and a Dallas Cowboy. I think with social media and with the internet, I don't think that's as much of a difference as it used to be. And I don't think any of these players are buying the notion of taking less to play for the Cowboys.
They moved on from Amari Cooper a couple of years ago when, he wanted big money there. So I don't know if Jerry's willing to do that.